Alright, Atsumu, your payment was sent. Alright, what's up, y'all? So you probably clicked on this video because 1, you don't know what to do before Spiked releases, and 2, you want to have an advantage over other players when Spiked releases. And I'm gonna answer both of these in this video, so make sure you subscribe because it really motivates me. And like the video and subscribe. Yeah, let's start the video. Alright, so on Roblox there's this game called Volleyball Academy, which is a game that released a long time ago in 2021. Or even earlier than that in my memory. But it's a game that really resembles Spiked mechanics. So that's why there's a lot of VBA players, Volleyball Academy players, that switched to Spiked and are now top players in Spiked when it was time for testing. So this game, as you can see the player spiking over there, the mechanics really resembles. So let's go over the spiking first. So first off, as you can tell, the spiking really resembles. You charge with your click and you aim with your camera to aim. So it really resembles. You can slam down, straight down, just like in Spiked. You can aim really deep. You can just like do a little, just like in Spiked. So the spiking really resembles. And the calls for spiking in Spiked when I played and Volleyball Academy really resembles because a lot of VBA players are switching to Spiked. So playing Volleyball Academy while Spiked is not out is gonna help you a lot in all of the mechanics of the game. So I just went over the spiking. So let's go over the setting now. The second part, the setting. The setting is a more is the mechanic that doesn't really resemble Spiked, I'll say. So the keybinds are different, and how you set in Spiked is a little more complicated than in Volleyball Academy, I'd say. So in Volleyball Academy, in VBA, I'm gonna say VBA from now. In VBA, you charge your set with click, just like that. You set with click, and you sprint to change how your set goes, as you can see. But in Spiked, you set with F and R, just like in regular volleyball games, but it's camera based and how much power you give. So you see the little power bar, as you can see below. There's the same bar in Spiked that you click with your F and R. That makes it so you have more power in your set. And the setting is camera based in Spiked, so it's a lot different in Volleyball Academy than in Spiked. So I wouldn't recommend practicing the setting in VBA and thinking you're gonna be like so much better in setting at Spiked. So it's a little different. So I'd say play both regular volleyball games and Volleyball Academy to get better at Spiked for the setting part. Alright, now the receiving. The receiving is exactly the same, except Spike has one little mechanic extra. So the receiving in VBA, as you can see, you need to click your right click on the mouse to get in the receiving stand, just like in Spiked, and you hold your click to give it more power. Oh, let me do that again. So as you can see, if I hold down, it goes further, but if I just click a little bit, boop, it goes just like that. But in Spiked, it's the same thing, except they added one extra mechanic, which is receiving is also camera based. So if you aim completely up like this, the receiving is gonna go extra higher than it is in Volleyball Academy, as you can see. So the camera doesn't change anything in VBA, but in Spiked, it makes it so the receiving goes higher or lower. So if you're just like that, the receiver is gonna go the lowest it can. But if you go like this, it's gonna go higher also. So just in Spiked, I would recommend just, I would recommend pretty much receiving like this because it's easier to see the court than like this. But that's all there is to receiving in both games. It's just hold down right click and just sprint like this and just boom, that's it. Alright, now for the diving. The diving is exactly the same. It is exactly the same. So you dive with Q and goes a little further. In Spiked, it goes even further than this. So as you can see, my dive, it goes pretty far. If you only play regular volleyball games, you would say that it goes pretty far. But in Spiked, it's even further. It goes like half of the court or even 2/3 of the court. So the diving is extremely similar. You just dive with Q. There's ultra, how do you say this? 8 directional diving. Just like in Spiked, it's exactly the same. So diving is extremely similar. So if you're a Libero, if you want to play Libero in Spiked, then VBA is perfect to get practice. It is perfect because the receiving is the same and the diving is the same. So if you're gonna play Libero, Volleyball Academy is the best way to practice. Alright, so now for the blocking. The blocking is exactly the same. So you just jump in the air, and you press right click. So it is exactly the same. Once again, Spiked is really a game that was heavily influenced by VBA because I think the owner or like the developers played a lot of VBA. So they're really influenced by that game because they love it, you know? So blocking is entirely the same. You just need to jump in the air and hold right click. The difference in Spike is that you need to hold your space bar to get more jumping power, but in VBA is insta. You just get in the air insta, just like in 4.2. But in Spike there's a little jump delay. Not a lot, but a little jump delay that makes it so blocking is a little harder. But you can just stop your block mid-air just like this to start spiking. Just like in Spike, same thing. So the blocking exactly the same. The mid-air movement too is exactly the same in Spike. It feels a lot similar. It feels a lot similar. Alright, so for now, the serving part, I wouldn't necessarily practice serving in VBA to get better in Spike for now, because the serving isn't really similar, even though, I mean, the spiking is camera based, so of course it's gonna help you learn a little better when it comes to serving in Spike, but it doesn't feel very similar when I played both. The serving is the only part that I think isn't really similar, because of course Spike added more mechanics to it. They added the floater, the top spin serve, the side spin serve, but in VBA there's only like just spike it and it goes over the net, you know. So the serving part isn't really similar, so I wouldn't necessarily practice it, but it can help you learn better to serve in Spike. How the game is played. The game in VBA, it is played in 4-2, but in Spike it's more played both. It's really 50-50. It really depends. In NA, there's a lot more 4-2 teams. In EU, there's a lot of 5-1 teams compared to VBA, which everyone plays 4-2, everyone. So you're going to see a lot of both in Spike, but it's really a preference because both can be really good. I prefer playing 4-2 in Spike because I played a little bit of VBA back then and the mechanics really resemble, so it's easier for me, but it's really a preference thing. And both games are extremely fast-paced. I would say Spike is a little more fast-paced because the Spike are a little faster, but both games are extremely fast-paced. So if you're used to BVL, 4.2, 4.4, etc., etc., I would really recommend practicing in Volleyball Academy before joining Spike because the fast-paced volleyball is really gonna get to you because BVL compared to those two games is extremely slow. So getting used to the fast-paced tempo of the game now is really going to help you when Spiked releases. Alright, so if you guys have any questions of how you need to play the game to get better in Spiked, just leave a comment, I'll respond. And you guys subscribe, please like the video, and y'all have a good one. Alright, see you.